Welcome to the LowCarbUSA podcast, where we seek to inspire you to help us build this community. I'm Doug Reynolds.
And this is Pam Devine.
Okay, Jen, so welcome back. We spoke before, just after I did some filming with you about this movie, Fat Fiction. And since then, a hell of a lot has happened. And the most important thing is it's finally ready to be released. Yes. But before we go there, for the people that missed our previous podcast, maybe you could just quickly explain what it is that you do and how you came to decide to use those skill sets to get this message out by making this movie. And then we can talk a bit more about the distribution in that.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so my background is in production and news journalism. So I was a television news reporter for a lot of years and special projects producer for NBC affiliate. And so I kind of came up, that's been my career, is news production, documentary production. And then my husband and I have our own production company together now, and we do all different types of production, some for corporate clients and other independent documentaries. But yeah, I kind of personally had an epiphany a couple years ago on this nutrition topic, and specifically about saturated fat. And I can't tell you how many interviews I've done over the course of my career with nutritionists and dietitians who told me that, saturated fat is terrible, must be avoided, and that we must be eating processed vegetable oils instead, that was much more healthy. And so I had done stories on this myself. I told other people that they should switch to vegetable oil spreads as a journalist. So when I started really digging into this and learning the truth about it, I just really felt like I needed to tell that story, tell people what, especially all the new science is showing, and then the evidence that we really got the story wrong about fats. So now the movie's all done and we're ready to put it out in the world. And I have the brand new trailer. Do you want to see that?
Yeah, sure. I think that'd be brilliant.
Okay, excellent. I'll just share the screen here. And
you look at the data of ever increasing obesity and diabetes, and you just think, maybe we're being told the wrong advice.
We've been told forever that fat's going to kill you.
There's incontrovertible evidence that saturated fat is bad.
Over and over and over. You're fat because you eat too much fat.
So low fat, low fat, low fat, low fat, low fat.
It's hard to think of another policy that has caused so much harm, that has been so wrong.
I think the food pyramid is great if you're standing on your head.
Should be called the food tombstone.
I mean, the manipulation of the data and the push for low fat really got us in trouble.
I just gorged myself on all these carbohydrates and it was toxic.
I think the low-fat diet is genocide.
It's a recipe for diabetes.
When I did everything they told me to do, I'd still gain weight. And so then you just give up.
We can't field an army because they are too fat to fight.
I had to raise my hand and say, we have a problem here.
If we changed the food, we could solve this problem.
I'm excited about it. I'm excited to try the recipes.
I'm grateful to be doing it. It's very fascinating to me.
So I got my brain back. I got my energy back.
I started to see my children's father come back.
I don't know anyone else who's lost as much weight as you have.
I've lost over 200 pounds.
It's just mind-boggling.
No diabetes.
How can you not acknowledge that?
It's like a miracle.
It's miraculous what just food can do.
We told people to stop eating butter and eat this poison instead. That is like mind-blowing.
Wait a minute. Have you not seen? Are you not practicing medicine to see who's coming into your clinic?
I was following the government guidelines.
It's just, to me, unbelievable.
Like they say, you can't outrun your fork.
It's really just terrible science.
It's total sheer madness.
I mean, it's like no wonder we're all fat and sick.
Yeah, so I've seen a rough version of it. You're telling me that it's been even improved a lot since then, but amazing. You've done such an amazing job telling the story. It just flows so well. And the exciting news that I think is that instead of going straight to streaming, as a lot of these, independent movies do, you've partnered with a distribution company called FanForce.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this is brilliant that we're going to be able to get it shown in movie theaters in any country, or in pretty much any country and any city in the world.
Yeah.
So maybe tell people about that, how it works, and how they can get a viewing in their town or city.
Yeah, so FanForce is this really great platform that allows fans to request a film to screen at their local cinema. So no matter where you live, the UK, Australia, South Africa, the United States, Canada, I mean, they're in numerous countries all over the world. You can just go to this one website and you can very easily sign up to host a screening in your town. And basically, when you sign up for a screening, you're asking the film to come to your local cinema, and all that needs to happen is about 50 people need to buy tickets. And it varies from cinema to cinema, but it's around 50 tickets must be sold to book the screening. And then once they hit that, they call that the tipping point, then the screening is confirmed, and the screening will definitely happen. If 50 tickets aren't sold and not enough people are interested in seeing the movie at the local theater, well, then the screening just cancels. Everyone gets their money back, and there's no loss on anyone's part. So it's really pretty easy. You're not signing up for any kind of risk at all if you sign up to host a screening. If not enough tickets sell, then it just doesn't happen. But we've already got people very interested in hosting screenings, and tickets seem to be selling pretty quickly. So I think this could be a great way to get this film out and get it outside of the low-carb community. I definitely want the low-carb community to, I hope they embrace and enjoy this film. But I also really hope that the film can break outside of the low-carb community and reach people who may not have already known about this story and about this approach. And I think that theatrical community screenings is a way to do that, is a way to maybe attract some people from the community that might not otherwise have known about this film or known about this approach to restoring their health.
Right. And so now the movie house themselves will actually do some advertising or promotion of whatever movies they've got showing in their theater at any time. So there is that independent promotion that goes on. But when you register as a host, you then get provided with a bunch of materials supplied from you, via you, basically, that have banners and posters and all these kinds of things that they can then use to put out in social media, print banners and whatever, and put them up in supermarkets, whatever they want to do, in order to get as many people there as possible. I feel like in most places, to get 50 or 60 people there is going to be pretty easy. So promoting it is made easier because of that you're provided with all these materials. And also that especially if you put it out on social media, make sure that you tag Wild Eye Productions and LowCarbUSA, and we will be retweeting and resharing and resending out anybody that talks about doing an event or a showing in their town. That we will help them by talking about it and promoting it and sharing it as well. So
that's wonderful.
I think it's amazing that people are going to have this opportunity.
The main platform for advertising and sharing about the screenings is Facebook. And so we have a Facebook page that's called Fat Fiction. And so we will be doing a lot of promotion through that Facebook page. And we are also creating a closed Facebook group where if you sign up to be a host of the film, you'll be able to be a part of that closed group. We're also inviting people from the film to be a part of that closed group. So that's kind of fun. You know, it's kind of an inside group where also if you have questions or you need help with something, you know, you can post and get answers from our team. And yeah, then we will also have available images and posters for the film, a trailer for the film, a lot of promotional support materials to make it easy for people to make tweets and do posts about their screening in their town to help get the word out. So, and we really appreciate your support, Doug. I mean, LowCarbUSA is such a phenomenal group, and really appreciate you guys giving support to this as well.
Yeah, it's so difficult not to. It's just you're doing such a good job of it that it's like, we're so excited we can't contain ourselves at the moment. Because I think it's going to be so powerful. And one of the other things that people can do is they can there's a time normally allowed at the end for 20 minutes or so for a Q&A.
Yes.
So if you're able to get, you know, one of the people in the movie to get out to wherever you are, or if you know something about the keto lifestyle or the low carb lifestyle or whatever, then you can arrange to have a Q&A afterwards and answer people's questions. Because like you say, we're hoping that a lot of those people that come are coming because they've heard. A lot of people are hearing about keto now.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest search words in Google at the moment and whatever. So, but most people don't know anything about it or what it really is. And so maybe this will pique their interest and they will come, and then guaranteed by the end of it, they're going to have questions.
Yeah.
So, you know, we really encourage, if anybody's going to host it, that they arrange to either have themselves or bring in some celebrity type low carb person that's local in their area or whatever that they can get hold of. I'm sure most people that are doing this would be open to pitching up and helping to answer some questions at the end.
Yeah.
And in fact, one of the suggestions they make is that you try and organize a restaurant or something close by, because almost guaranteed 20 minutes is never going to be enough to answer all the questions.
Right.
So then you can say, okay, well, we're getting chucked out here, but walk next door and let's carry on answering questions in an informal situation next door at a restaurant or something. So
yeah, I think that's a great idea. And the people who host the films as well, I think there are a lot of folks like nutritional therapists that also offer classes that they could maybe share with people who come to the
right. It's a cool way to help tell more people about what they do in that town.
Yeah, and then, you know, further educate people. I mean, that's really the goal. Is
right.
You know, this film, I hope, will really open people's eyes to the science and to the possibilities of just, you know, getting off all these medications and getting your health back just by eating real food. But I think the film will open people's eyes, but then they're going to need more. They're going to need follow-up. You know, they're going to want to take a class or go online and dig in a little deeper. So yeah, those Q&As are a great opportunity to help people with that.
For sure. The other thing that I think is pretty cool is the opportunity for people who want to register as a host to provide some of the box office takings or assign some of the box office takings to one of 3 different charities or foundations. So maybe you can tell people a bit more about that.
Yeah, the other thing I really like about the FanForce platform is that you can set up your screening to be a fundraiser for a charity. And so, you know, not only are we spreading this really great information, health information, but you can also raise a few dollars for a good cause while you're doing it. And we've actually partnered with 3 charities that we would like to recommend. People don't have to choose them, but we would really like it if they did, because these are great organizations that are doing really good work. The Ketogenic Foundation is one of the organizations, and you know those guys really well. They're raising money for ketogenic research, and are just kind of gotten that going, and we would love to be able to help support that effort. The Nutrition Coalition is another one of the nonprofits that we would like people to consider selecting as a fundraising charity. That organization is lobbying for sound science in the dietary guidelines, and a very important thing that's been missing and kind of got us into this whole dilemma in the first place. And then the Noakes Foundation out of South Africa. Professor Tim Noakes' foundation that is raising money to help low-income people in South Africa overcome the metabolic diseases and type 2 diabetes that has just ravaged South Africa. So
Yeah, and they put some of their money there towards ongoing research as well. So they kind of divide that. They're doing an incredible job there. So
yeah,
and Tim's a big part of this movie too. So
he is, yes, he
yeah.
is.
So they're a great organization as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I love that about the FanForce platform. It's you know, a great way to get the film out, get it into communities, get it into theaters where people can see it in their town, and at the same time raise money for good causes.
For a really good cause.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's awesome. I know you're going to be at the premiere in Denver in a couple of days' time. I'm going to be there too. I can't wait. But in the meantime, people need to start scheduling screenings. You know, they don't have to wait for the premiere to happen in Denver. They can start doing that right now.
Yeah.
So maybe you can help people, show them how it all works, so that they can do this.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just share my screen here really quick, and it's really easy to hop online, and we go. This is the website. It's fanforce.com is the website. And it's actually fan-force.com. And you just hop onto the website, and right on the homepage of the website, you will see our film. I guess it's the films page here. And you'll see Fat Fiction right here. And you just select the film, and you can look to see if there's already a screening in your town, and that's a possibility. For example, I mean, we just released this yesterday, and we already have 3 screenings signed up in Alabama. And that's a great group. 1031 Foods has signed up to host these 3 different screenings. And so if I'm in Mobile, Alabama, I could just click on that screening, and I can buy tickets for that screening. And you'll see this particular screening so far has sold 12 tickets. If you are a host of a screening, you really just sign up and say, I would like this movie to play at my local cinema. And FanForce will set all of this up. They do all of the work, and they will set up this page, and they set up the link for buying tickets, and it's kind of all done for you. And you just need to sell a certain number of tickets to hit the tipping point. So this screening, for example, needs to sell 54 more tickets before it hits the tipping point. And the tipping point, as we discussed, is that point at which the film is actually booked, and the screening will definitely happen. And so they need to sell 54 more tickets to tip this screening, and then it will definitely happen. If for some reason they don't sell that many more tickets, then the screening is canceled and everyone gets their money back, and there's no loss for anyone. So it's pretty risk-free. If you'd like to get the film into your local cinema, you're not signing up to lose any money or anything like that. It's just, it either happens or it doesn't. So it's pretty simple.
Yeah, so I'll put a link in the show notes to go directly to that Fat Fiction page. If you could go back to there, maybe you can show people, just quickly walk them through the sign-up process.
Sign up process, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Let me, it's being a little bit slow, but okay, here we go. So yeah, you click on the film and you say, I would like to fan force a screening now. So you just click on that, and then your film needs to say Fat Fiction, and we already have that. And then you just quickly, there's just a few fields that you have to enter. These are all the countries. These are all of the places where people can host screenings. So it's quite extensive around the world. And then we're in Boise, Idaho. So I will just do this. And then you suggest a cinema. So I have a cinema near me called Edwards downtown in Boise. And then you also want to offer an alternate cinema in case that one's not available. There's another one here called The Flicks in Boise. And then you pick a preferred date for your screening. FanForce recommends Monday or Wednesday night bookings because those are easier to fit in between other films at local cinemas. So you just pick a couple suggested dates and times. So maybe you want to try and do a matinee. I think mostly on Monday, Wednesday nights, you probably want to try and do an evening screening because most people are working. So you give a couple suggested times, and then you do have to enter your name and email and select a password. You do have to be 18 years of age in order to host a screening. And then the last screen is where you can enter information about your organization. So, my company, say if I were a nutritionist or a physician, I could enter the name of my company here, and my company would be featured as the host of the screening. So for me, my company is Wide Eye Productions. So that gets listed. You can request to be able to introduce the film before the screening. Yes. Would you like a microphone? Yes. Do you want your logo to appear on the promotional flyer? So sure, yeah, I'd like my company. You do have to email in your logo if you want that. Are you planning a Q&A after the screening? We highly encourage that because that's a great way to share even more information with the audience members. And then you indicate how many speakers there will be. Maybe I'll say 2, okay? And then you just let them know if there's any special information, like maybe you would like a small table at the door to the cinema where you could maybe set some flyers out for your company or for maybe classes that you might offer. And then you can choose to host this as a fundraising screening or not. If you choose yes, our suggested charities will be listed below. We're still adding the Noakes Foundation. That'll probably get added tomorrow. But they're suggested charities, or you can also pick a local charity. So if you did want to do it as a fundraiser, say for your local food bank or a local low-carb charity that you feel your community might rally around, you could do that. And then you have the option to have FanForce email you promotional materials. I would say yes to that. Apparently you can say no to that, but I would say yes to that. And then you submit, and then this starts the process. And then FanForce does everything on the back end. They call the theater. You don't have to call the theater. They get that all set up. They get the movie sent to the theater for the actual playing of the film. They host it and post it on Facebook. They put it out as an event that then you can email out, and also share on social media, and we will share on social media. So kind of the back end is sort of all done for you. And again, if for some reason not enough tickets sell, the screening is just canceled. It doesn't happen, which would be unfortunate, but nobody loses any money, or, there's no risk involved for people who want to sign up to host screenings. So that's it in a nutshell. It's pretty simple.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, I can't wait. And you were just telling me that is it FanForce was saying that their record is 1,000 screenings. So we're looking to smash that record.
Yes, that's our goal. Yeah, we always want to be set the record. I don't think that would be too hard to do either. To be honest,
I think this community is widespread enough throughout the world that I'm confident that we'll hit that.
Yeah, and we'd really like to. It would be wonderful if people would jump on this right away too, and try and set up these screenings for late spring, early summer. We'd really like to try and do a big concentrated push of screenings here pretty quickly.
Like now, end of April, May timeframe. Basically, I think if you go in now, you can start booking from 17th or 18th of April.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that let's get those things in theaters as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think let's jump on this and get it out there and get as many screenings as we can and reach as many people as we can. Because like you and I were discussing, I think these theatrical showings are going to be a great way to not only show the film to the low carb community who really would want to see this, but to also break outside of the low carb community and get the film out to people who, are struggling with bad nutrition advice and haven't been able to figure out, why they can't lose weight or why they can't get control of their blood sugar levels. Well, those are the folks we'd really like to reach as well, and hopefully offer them some advice that works.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much for taking the time to do this. I know you're hectically busy at the moment, trying to get all the final I's dotted and T's crossed in terms of getting this movie distributed. Look forward to meeting you next week, or seeing you again next week.
Yes.
Let's make this happen.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much, Doug. We really are excited to get it out into the world. It's been a 2-year project, and it's always wonderful when it's finally done, and we just delivered the masters to the distribution house yesterday. So
brilliant news.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. We'll see you soon.
Okay, sounds good, Doug. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to an episode of the LowCarbUSA podcast. You can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/LowCarbUSA.